Steel boots stomping, crashing the floor. Two wild Yinzers kicking through the door. Loud like a jag-off at a pins game fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Rivers collide where the laughs always flow. Black and gold thunder everywhere they go. The madcap kings breaking every mold. With two dumb Yinzers, the stories don't get old. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice.
Yeah. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. This is episode 796 of the Dude. I want to say to everybody this morning, welcome back. Welcome back. How you doing today, Mr. Mike?
Oh, what? Okay, that's how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go, brother. Man,
Mike, we got a lot to talk about today. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to Maddie on the board. Great to see Maddie as always. Welcome back. A lot of things to go over today, man. Yeah. Okay, I got a couple beefs here before we do get started. Mike, this tech that they're using to mark first downs now, and you see they introduced this in the preseason this year. Okay, so the thing that bugs me about this, it's not much different than what they used to have. They used to just have a yellow line that they would put on the screen, and you would see if the ball was a first down or not.
Yeah.
So they changed the system, and they put something in place now to where, okay, my first problem with this was before they would show you the play over and over and over, and you would kind of try to decide if the ball was over the line or not. Now they don't do that. They don't do that over and over to let you see. I mean, so far from what I noticed, it could change.
Yeah.
So a couple of things here. You remember like the past couple of years, referees kind of been getting really sloppy and just placing the ball in wrong places, kicking the ball on accident when he placed it. There was just a lot of things over the past few years that made you kind of, shrug and say, what's going on? So this thing, it goes and basically turns into dial-up. It takes forever for that technology to load. Have you noticed that before when they would just have a yellow line on the screen at all times? And you would say, oh, yep, that's on the line. It's not. Now they go away from the action. It goes up there. It takes a while for them to load that. And they're like, oh, here it comes. Here comes the technology. Let's see if it's a first down. Why does it seem like they went backwards 15 years?
Yeah.
With this new technology, Mike? I'm assuming that it's going to get a lot better and a lot faster, but it feels like they went backwards. So that's one beef. For two, I don't like the fact that you're not showing us the play. I don't want to depend on the technology to know if the game of inches was won fairly or not. I just don't. With being in bed with the NFL nowadays, I don't. I want to see myself play the play over and over and over like you did for the last 60 years, and then pull out your little technology. Because again, Mike, there's something weird about this. I don't like it. And again, Mike, I don't understand why it takes so long now for them to produce that graphic that they put up. It seems like they went backwards 15, 20 years, when before there was a yellow line on the screen at all time. If it went over the yellow line, you knew it was going to be close enough, or the announcers usually were pretty damn close in calling if it was going to be first down or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't like this change. There's something about it. There's just something about it. It takes away from what you can take away. As I said, you don't get they just don't play the play over and over. And I like that. I like to see if I can figure it out. And then you tell me officially. But then, like I said, why does it take so long? They go into this long conversation. They talk about this, and then they go, oh, here it comes. Let's see how close he was. Why is it, Mike? Why is it more of a pain in the ass now than it was before?
Because the NFL is apparently running out of money. They can't afford this technology that the top tennis association has used for, it feels like, at least a decade now. Every once in a while, I'll turn on tennis, watch some Wimbledon or the French Open, and they have the virtual replay assistant like immediately. It's like right there. What's this in or out? Let's go take a look. And they pull it up. Oh no, that's out. They have this in soccer too for their goal lines. Did it cross the line or not? Boom, let's go take a look. And it's there, and it's quick, and it's fast. The NFL, it's slow.
And again, Mike,
like you said,
Mike, they went from real time, having the yellow line on the field at all time. And as I said, the announcers were always pretty close. Even if the ball was
the yellow
close
line
on that
was
line,
close,
right? And they would be, and if they weren't accurate, okay, the referee comes out and brings the chain. Yeah. I don't know. I'm a chain guy. I'm an old fashioned kind of guy when it comes to this kind of thing. I want to see how many chain links it was short. I don't trust a camera going off somewhere else, taking a period of time, and then coming back and showing us the results. Again, it's just too. If this was 10 years ago, maybe I might have been aboard. But ever since the Las Vegas. And the NFL jumped into bed together, and you've been having the same team in the Super Bowl for 6 straight years or whatever the hell's going on. These kind of things, they just bug me, Mike. And it was just an observation I made during this game. I'm not a fan of this new system. Is it going to make things convenient and faster in the future? I'm sure. But right now, it's slow and lumpy, and I don't care for it.
It's when I heard they were going to do this, I'm like, oh, sweet, this is cool. Because like I said, watching tennis, watching soccer, boom, it's there. It's they're gone, and it's in the NFL. It's slow. It's like they got like you said, like the dial-up modem.
It really is, Mike. Like I said, it's backwards from what we had.
Yeah, because like you said, at least the yellow line wasn't 100% accurate, but it was damn close. You had an idea.
You're right.
And then you had the chain game come out with the official line. Now
I like the chain game.
I don't like it. Give me my old guys out there who look like they're ready to fall asleep, that break a hip every year.
And at least you can watch what they're doing. Yeah. You could watch the chain. You could watch the distance of the chain. You could. Again. You get Vegas and you get betting involved. You don't know what the hell's going on behind the scenes. I'm not a big fan of this. And again, if I was to be a fan, it's way too slow. And again, 10 years behind as far as I'm concerned, Mike. I just don't understand what takes it so long to produce this graphic. Everything now is so instant and on the go. Why this?
Exactly. And it's funny though too, because like you said, like this technology has been out for a long time, probably even more than a decade. And like these other sports that use it, man, they have this shit dialed in. And here's the NFL. It looks like an old, like the bowling alley graphics when you get your strike or your gutter ball, and they're all choppy and old. That's what it looks like when they bring up the virtual chain gang. It looks like something that would be overhead as you're drinking some beers and bowling a 40 in 9 frames. That's what it looks like. It reminds me I'm at the bowling alley. That fucker comes out. I don't like it. I don't like it.
This is one of the most successful companies in the country. It has to be the NFL. I mean, they're a multi-billion-dollar company. What they say? Give me the LTE version of your first down technology, Mike. It's just odd to me. I'm all for technology helping. I'm not all for technology taking over the show. Again, I want some manpower in there a little bit as well to get the just to make sure things are right. And again, as the referees have been awfully shady the past few years, and a lot of things. I mean, there's calls that come down to the game and the end of the Super Bowls we could always talk about, and just different things. Mike, again, not a big fan of this. My other beef of this morning is this. I do want to say good morning and welcome back, everybody, to the show. This is episode 796. I do want to say welcome back, everybody. This is Victory Friday. Welcome back. A big a win. It was a win yesterday. We're going to talk about this. But my other beef before we do start is this. Is anybody else ready to see anything but watch Aaron Rodgers walk up and down the sidelines, talking to people, laughing, smiling, talking, walking? There are more people on this team. You knew that this was going to come. It's a little bit of the Aaron Rodgers show, a little bit of what we called, not as extreme as we thought it was going to be at the beginning, Mike, but I would like to see anybody on these sidelines other than Aaron Rodgers a couple times at least.
Yeah, hopefully, we won't have the local cameraman and producers producing these games anymore. My God,
well, I think the NFL is probably going to be worse. It's going to they like storylines.
That's true.
That
is true. My God.
I'm almost Aaron Rodgered out, and I'm going to get into a little bit more why as the show goes on. But I do want to say good morning to everybody on the board. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Great to see everybody. RB, Richard, Kenneth, Sticky B. What you know about Sticky B? Aaron, Jade, Maddie, everybody. Welcome to the board. This is Victory Friday. The Steelers did walk away. They closed out preseason with a win, a 19-10 win. Mike, I was hoping for just one more Steeler touchdown to make it 26-10. Yeah, and I could have said my 26-11 prediction was close. Yeah, but it didn't happen that way. But the Steelers did win this game, Mike. They finished preseason with a 2-1 record, wrapping it up against Carolina. Mike, it's officially regular season for the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. The next thing we're preparing for is a opener against the Jets here in about 2.5, a little over 2 weeks, we call it. It's going to be Sunday, 2 weeks from this coming Sunday. So you do the math on that, Mike. And we have the Jets. So a lot of things to happen between now and then. We have the 53-man cut down on Tuesday at 4 o'clock, the deadline on that. Also, Mike, we have a couple other issues. We have Cam Hayward trying to get paid. We're going to see what happens between now and then with that situation. And also, Mike, this wide receiver too, it just isn't going away. We know that we're still searching. We're searching around and shopping and seeing if there is anything of quality that we could bring in or put in the wide receiver 2 position. We'll get into all that, so much more, guys. Everybody, welcome back to the show. Let's hop on the board, Mike. I don't want to leave anybody out on this Victory Friday. Everybody's got to be feeling okay, I guess. I mean, there was a lot to, I think, dive into with this game, so let's get at it. I do want to say good morning to Maddie. I want to say good morning to Richard. Richard says, happy Victory Friday. Mason looked a little rough last night. I want to say good morning to Aaron Jade. My man, Aaron, always great to see you on the board. He says, here we go, Steelers. YA Black has the best sack celebration of all time. The belly celly, I love it.
Hell yeah, he does, brother.
Mike, he was my big winner of this game. Again, we'll get into the winners, losers, and all these kind of things as the show goes on. I liked YA Black last night. I thought he was one of the only ones that looked like they were prepared to play a football game. Sticky B says, bro, that second half ref, what retirement home was he kidnapped from? My man just wanted some pudding in a fresh Depends. I know. And I tell you what, they sweat different in Carolina. Did you see the way that sweat just sits on them guys down there? I noticed the difference being in Pittsburgh was with the humidity and all the sweating all the time. It's a different kind of sweat in North Carolina. Mike, you can see it on the referees' arms the whole time. It just kind of sits. There's like water on them.
It's disgusting. Yeah, I went down south a couple times and I hate it.
It's a different heat. It's
disgusting.
Richard says, where's Mark Malone this morning? I need some optimism for this coming season.
My man's probably huffing gallons of paint right now.
Yeah, man. RB says there's too much fuckery that we can that can happen. You know what? I agree with this technology. There's just too much that can happen. Again, I don't know how good this is going to be for the game. It's supposed to be good. It's supposed to help. But again, I don't know how much I trust it in its entirety. Let's see. John, what did I do? Did I skip over RB on this one? Okay. Now, there we go. I do want to say hello to Kenneth on the board. Always great seeing Kenneth as well. Richard said the offensive line still needs to improve, and the defense was rusty and painful to watch in the first half. Well, that's most of them that's the first time they've touched the field. I don't know why we would expect any different. RB says the issue is in the other sports, it just needs to see where the ball lands. Needs to be checked where a knee, an elbow, an ass cheek touched and where the ball is. So someone needs to watch. Absolutely. There's so many things that goes into a first down in the NFL, or a touchdown, or just staying in bounds. RB follows that up by saying, "Stop the film, turn on the Hawkeye." My man John, what's going on, John? Hope everything's well out your way. John says, if the players go half-assed, why play? Totally unacceptable football. Kenneth says Rudolph was bad, very bad. RB says, everyone keeps saying about Thompson taking Howard's job. I've been less than impressed with Mason, to be honest. He's thrown 2 really dumb interceptions. And finally, RB follows it up with, YA did look ready to play. He's only had 3 months with Tom, and eventually he will get with the standard and learn to be unprepared. Guys, everybody, again, welcome to Victory Friday. Victory Friday. We're looking at the next step, Mike, is the New York Jets and kicking off this season. But we can't get there without going over what happened yesterday in Carolina, in Charlotte, North Carolina, guys, between the Steelers and the Panthers. The Panthers played no starters. The Steelers played pretty much all their starters with the exception of a few. I thought the word to describe this game from beginning to end for the Steelers was sloppy. Sloppy would be a word. Maybe unprepared, but I don't know. I don't know how you could be this unprepared at this particular time. To me, it just seemed like a bunch of guys that hasn't had game time, and they came in. There was missed tackles. There was lots of penalties, lots and lots and lots of penalties. So these kind of things like this are signs of just you haven't been out there. You're not used to playing football. And again, a team that really prides itself on this defense, and Mike hopes to have the best defense ever. They used this term, and before. They really need to tackle a lot better if you plan on being the best defense ever. Mike, just off the top of right off the top of the cut, what was your take on this game last night?
Like you said, sloppy, very, very sloppy. Like you said too, and like I think John said it on the board, a lot of guys look disinterested, like they just wanted to get this done and over with. It looked like, too, on some of those long runs, business decisions were made of, I want to get my reps in, but I really don't want to hit anyone. I'm really not trying to get hurt out here. So we're just going to try and get in the way and slow this guy down, and we'll eventually bring him together. It was like an all-star game defense out there for us, it felt like. Everyone except for, like you said, Y.A. Black and Jalen Ramsey. I think Jalen Ramsey was ready to kill some people.
And you know who else, Mike? Mark Bruner. Mark Bruner is one player that I thought Carson Bruner's played his ass off from day one to game 3 so far in the preseason. He led the team in tackles last night with 5 tackles overall. He was in every tackle on special teams. Mike Carson Bruner and Y.A. Black, these 2 rookies are the 2 that caught my eye so far. Yeah. What do you think about these 2 guys?
I liked what I saw from Bruner. It's even like on special teams too, especially on special teams. He was all over the place on special teams. I think that helps him earn a roster spot. Big time right there. Because you can play on special teams. The team will find a way for you to get out or to make the team. So I think he's going to make it. And it's going to be a fun battle for him and Mark Robinson, see who makes it. And then Y.A. Black. Talk about a steal of the draft.
Talking about Cam Hayward's replacement.
Yeah. Like, this cat was playing all over the line, too. He was playing nose. He was playing out on the end as well. God, he was just bullying those guys. And he looks quick, too, for a big guy.
Yeah, he's a big guy, Mike. I really like him. I'm really encouraged by him. Like I said, as the rookies go, Y.A. Black and Carson Bruner has really set the tone, in my opinion. Yeah. Again, there's no reason I could see that you would get rid of Carson Bruner. And you know what? His dad has his name on the back of a Steelers jersey as well. These kind of things tend to happen in Pittsburgh. I think Carson Bruner does make this team, Mike. Also, let me get into a couple of things. Of course, we did have the big injury last night. We'll get into that, Mike, and a whole lot more. But I want to talk about these penalties at first. Again, it didn't look like we've played a snap up before the game, before yesterday's game. By the way, just every time you turn around, there was a flag. I had a theory at first. I thought, you know what? The referees are probably tightening things up this game because next step is the regular season. Yeah. So why not tighten things up? But at the end of the day, if this is what we're going to be facing in 2 weeks, with refereeing, the officiating being tightened up, we're going to have to be prepared for that, opposed to going in and it was 13 penalties for 104 yards, Mike. That was on our side. And then for Carolina, they had only 7 penalties for 73 yards. Again, Mike, 20 penalties for 120. I'm sorry, 177 yards total between the two teams. That's a lot of laundry on the field, man.
That is too. That's way too many penalties. Some of them, were justified, but other of those, come on, there were some ticky-tacky holding calls that were thrown in there. But yeah, it was just a sloppy game.
Very sloppy. That's the word that I used to describe last night's game, Mike. And I go ahead.
I was going to say too, and I'm glad it's the preseason. This is where you're supposed to work on this shit. So, fuck, you can have like 50 penalties. It just seems like I'm not going to cry.
I feel like they went backwards though. The penalties weren't early. They were tackling fine early. The defense, again, these backups that played against Jacksonville just 2 weeks ago, they weren't missing tackles. Tonight, last night, I'm sorry, you have all these starters that's coming in and playing for the first time. They're missing tackles everywhere. Again, this kind of bleeds back into another debate that we have, and we'll get into that, I'm sure. But Mike, it really feels like preseason went backwards this year. And it's one thing to say that veterans know how to prepare themselves, and then it's another thing to see them come out their very first time and miss tackles everywhere and have penalties. And you just, you're really taking common sense and throwing it out the window, because anything that you do, you want to be as prepared as you can, especially on the level of the positions that these guys have in their life. They're professional football players that make a lot of money. You should be prepared. Again, I'm hoping it was the referees, Mike, but we will see. In 2 weeks, we do start against the Jets. We are 3-point favorites going into the Jets game. That's right. We're going on the road. We're 3-point favorites, and we got 2 weeks to get our stuff together. Again, Mike, we have a Cam Hayward situation going on. We do also have a wide receiver 2 situation that we know it's just lingering, and we're going to see over these next couple of weeks if we go and grab anybody. But Mike, again, sloppy preseason game, in the Steelers' victory 19-10 over the Carolina Panthers. Were you happy to see the starters last night? I mean, granted, they didn't play great. No amazing splash plays were made by starters or anything like this. I was kind of hoping maybe a pick six or something by Jalen Ramsey would have been nice, or anything of this nature. Were you satisfied with what you've seen from the starters last night?
Yes. For people like Jalen Ramsey, I like what I saw. Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slay, Joey Porter Jr. back there in the defense, because one of the things the coaching staff wanted to see is how well they would communicate back there. And when those main secondary guys were in there, there were no communication issues. And that's been a theme the past two years, is communication in the secondary. So out of that right there, I know that's not a sexy thing to talk about. It's not wrapping up tackles. It's not getting picks. It's not breaking up plays, but it's a good fundamental sign that, you have all these new guys in the secondary. You have a new secondary coach, that everyone was on the same page of the starters. Now, when the backups got in there, there were communication breakdowns. I think that's going to happen. The talent level and everything, you lose certain abilities, and one of them is communication. It just happens in sports. But those top guys, they were all on the same page. So I was excited to see that. And, you're just excited to see the new guys out there, the starters, to make, it felt worthwhile to take, that I watched the first half, that hour and a half out of my day. It felt worthwhile to watch some of these starters play.
Mike, I know somebody that really shut the mouths of, I don't remember who it was, maybe you or somebody on the board. I don't remember what it was, but when James Pierre intercepts that ball, the first thing I thought of was this show, because you guys were just going off on James Pierre earlier this week, talking about what does he really do? But he always seems to get this interception, Mike. It's always late in the preseason. It's always in the end zone. James Pierre, is he worth keeping around?
Yeah, special teams, brother. Special teams. And Corey Trice is always hurt, so he's probably not going to make the team. Beanie Bishop is an inside corner, so if he makes a team, that's there. Unless there's a surprise cut around the league and we can find a decent backup that can play outside corner, I think James Pierre makes this team.
I do too. Ultimately, I think he does. Just the same way he did the past couple years. He's special teams. He's depth, and he's been on the team for a while. So I think this is why they keep him ultimately. Let's grab a couple of these messages, Mike. I'm going to go right around. Where are we? Everyone keeps saying that Howard, no, Yahweh, no. John says players are not going 100% because they fear getting hurt. Add in the lack of focus, and you get that abortion. The NFL wants preseason, but the teams and players obviously don't care. Yeah, anything that's not the regular season, if it's a preseason, if it's practice, if it's a all-star game, if it's anything, they lose an interest. I don't know. It's kind of taken away from the game overall for fans, I think. But let's see, Jamal, what's up, brother? Always great seeing you on the board. Maddie says, I'm excited for Sawyer.
He actually impressed me a little bit last night. Not gonna lie, he got better. As the season went on, as preseason's gone on, I was like, I thought it was his best performance.
I think he grows on you, Mike. I don't know. I keep hearing that he's good, and everyone tells me he's good, and he was on a good team last year, and he did great things in the championship. And I don't know Sawyer like a lot of people do. I didn't follow Ohio State. It seems to me that he's going to be okay. He hasn't really done much, but there really hasn't been, with the exception of 2 or 3 guys on this team, that really has went above and beyond in the play or preseason. And one of them is going to be gone. I see a couple comments. We're going to talk about him in a couple minutes here, Mike, with Skylar Thompson. Some people believe that he should be competing for the number 2 spot here in Pittsburgh with Mason Rudolph. By his performance, but we'll get into that and the numbers from the game on him here in just a minute. RB says, what you see last night is why I'm sick of Tomlin. Yes, it's only preseason, but his teams show up to play down to the competition, lack fundamentals. I didn't see one guy wrap up and look unmotivated. Kenneth says Eccles has shown that he can miss a lot of tackles, even with a few hustle plays.
Yeah, Eccles is up and down. Like, one play I'll like him, the next play, like, he's whiffing.
RB says, let's be honest, the QB1 and wide receiver one not playing. You didn't see the ones at all on offense. Kenneth says, Joey totally whiffed the tackle. Ramsey gets a stupid penalty. Warren fumbles. Nobody looks sharp but black. And that's where I'm at. Kenneth, your comment basically wraps up everything that I feel about the game as well.
And that Porter tackle, like, you and I were watching the game a little bit together here at the studio. I was like, last year, Porter sticks that guy. He sticks that guy. He reverted to his rookie tackling form of whiffing.
Let's see. Kenneth says that ball was thrown right to him.
He caught it, baby.
Wait, what are we talking about?
James Pierre.
Oh, yeah. That was the Mike. But I said that
he was in the right position and he caught it.
This is what I just said. I just literally said this the other day. I said he always gets that one weird interception in the preseason, kind of gets you high on him, and then you're 3/4 of the way through the season and he's getting burnt, and you're like, why is he still on the team? He kind of comes and goes in that sense. RB says it was me clowning on him, and no pubic hair does not need to be here. You know what I was thinking too? I thought the offensive line has looked okay. We'll get another thing. That's another thing we'll get into in just a minute, Mike. In the preseason in general, for this young group of guys, and even Broderick, who we had so much concern about, Mike. Again, they haven't played top quality defenders. They haven't played any main rushers in the league, any of these guys, which is going to be a totally different story. But from what I've seen in the preseason, Mike, I can't complain about the offensive line. I think that the lack of running, again, we'll get into that in a few seconds because the numbers vary, and I want to get into why I believe that. RB also says the QB threw it at him like Ike Taylor would have caught that.
I don't know. I don't know. I've seen Ike drop a lot of catchable balls.
I don't know about Nubs. I don't know if he's catching that. Richard says we are not drafting any stinking nose tackles. Y.A. Black is an impressive defensive tackle. He's going to be fun to watch this season. He's definitely on the 53. I can't imagine in a million years that Y.A. Black is one of the people that lose their job this week. Again, Tuesday, 4:00 is the deadline, guys. When we're cut down to 53, we will know our team in its entirety on Tuesday. Let me get into let's see right here. RB says Sawyer issues were Ohio State wanted him to be Bosa 3.0 and had him playing at 265, say about 235 he played at in high school. He's back to 245-ish and got athleticism back. Mark Malone, what's up, brother? Always great to see you, Mark Malone. Hey, people are even asking about you, man. On the board, waiting for all your optimism. Mark Malone is in the house, everybody. He says those cock knockers haven't been run blocking worth a poo. The run blocking was a concern. That's my concern.
Mark was not sniffing the happy paint today.
And then RB says, not true, Ryan. Jones kicked the shit out of Josh Allen.
Yeah, he did.
Hines for 3 drives against the Jacks. Wait, who?
Broderick Jones.
That's what Broderick Jones did good. That's right. Isn't that what I said?
Yeah, but you said he didn't go up against anyone of note. And
Well, I'm talking. Listen, when he's up against Myles Garrett in a couple weeks, or Trey Hendrickson, or somebody of this nature, is who I'm talking about, somebody that's just going to bull rush you. These are the kind of guys I'm concerned. I think that Broderick Jones is going to do okay against mid tier 2, decent players. He has to. He has no choice. But whenever you get some real bull rushers coming in there, this is when I fear, and I'm sure they'll line up accordingly, knowing these things. With Broderick Jones, but again, I thought the offensive line looked okay in the preseason. Like, there was nothing that really concerned me. The rush blocking, though, it was a bit of a concern. But I'm going to go through the guys. Let's look at individuals first, because this it could sing a song, guys. Let's see. Jaylen Warren, he runs the ball 2 times for 3 yards. 2 times for 3 yards, and he had a fumble. He lost a fumble, guys. This is your number 1 running back going against Carolina's non-starters. 2 carries, 3 yards, and a lost fumble. Caleb Johnson, Mike, I thought he looked better last night. He looked quicker. Early on when he had those couple of carries, he looked quicker than he did in the first 2 weeks. Mike, he went 5 for 24. 5 carries, 24 yards. Now the guys that really impressed me running the ball, Trey Sermon, Mike, 4 carries, 39 yards. That's 9.8 yards per carry. Trey Sermon, he looked great in whenever he finally played. Mike, they couldn't stop him. He was running like mad. Lou Nickel, the other guy that I like, Mike, he only ran it twice for 14 yards, but that was 7 yards a carry, and he caught 3 balls for 21 yards. I like Lou Nichols. This guy, he gets a little bit of space. He makes a lot happen, and he looks more impressive than any of our starters did. Anytime that he just touches the ball, it seems like Lou Nichols can make something happen. Mike, this offensive line blocking, the running backs, does this change? This is something that we expected to see a lot of in the preseason, was a lot of running to go with this Arthur Smith offense. Run. We're going to work on the run. The running game is going to be a big part of this. We're going to see the running backs run. And it was the total opposite in the preseason. So unless they know what they're going to do and go into regular season with a certain game plan, Mike, we didn't see a whole lot of what we thought we were going to see from the running game.
No, I thought there was going to be a heavy dose of the run game, and it turned out they're more interested to see what they can do in the passing game. Maybe this is a sign of things to come, that they're going to be a pass heavy team and just do a running back by committee of,
which is crazy because your quarterback got 0 practice at all. So if you're going to be a pass heavy team, you're going to sit your quarterback out the whole entire preseason. That's kind of weird.
Kind of weird, but he was looking really sharp in all the practices, they thought, and he
practices.
Hey, practice.
Nobody's allowed to plow you in practices. Nobody's allowed to kill you. And this is what they're going to be planning on doing to find his 42-year-old ass sitting back in that pocket. People are going to want to. It's a whole different story. It's a practice.
We sitting here talking about practice, man. Not a game.
Exactly. That's what I'm fearing. Just again, what is it?
I get where you're coming from. But I have faith that Aaron Rodgers will be locked in and ready to go.
Why is that? Why do you have that? I literally don't know why people keep saying this.
He's been locked in every year he's been a starter. He's been lights ready to go every year.
All right, I don't know. I'm gonna keep that receipt. You just know that. I'm holding that receipt in my back pocket, Mike. So watch what you say. I think that it's gonna be an issue. Again, the starters looked slow last night against backups, against Carolina Panthers backups, and we're expecting these other guys that didn't even play or practice or play in preseason to come out in 2 weeks and be on top of their game. Again, with all the missed blocks, all the missed tackles, all the penalties last night from the guys who didn't play previous. To me, it's just it's a common sense concern. Again, you want to put your guys in a position to prepare for a game. Yeah, the guy played 25 million seasons or whatever, but he didn't play this season yet. And guess what? This is the only one that matters. All those seasons don't matter. None of them matter to us. None of them were a Steeler. Who cares what he did? The fact of the matter is, you didn't get any practice, and you're a human being. And again, at the end of the day, if he doesn't get out there and just impress the hell out of everybody, this argument will be brought back. And so I just, again, it doesn't make sense to me on any level not to let these guys play a little bit, maybe even one drive in the preseason. That's nothing. Again, I think that Aaron Rodgers is running this team, Mike. I think it's because Aaron Rodgers didn't want to practice. He didn't want to play. And Mike Tomlin just isn't going to tell Aaron Rodgers no. That's my opinion. Shoot me.
Well, Aaron Rodgers said he
says, I'm willing to play. Absolutely.
Well, he's willing to play and get out there.
But you know what that really means. I'm prepared. Don't play me. Okay. Let's move on the board, Mike. A lot going on the board today, and I don't want to miss anybody. I'm going to come back here to RB. Says Alan Hines has more sacks than Garrett in the last 3 seasons. He follows it up by saying Warren's T-Rex arms are always going to give him ball security issues. RB says Lou, Nichols, and Sermon and Johnson need to be the backs. Rip me if you like. Warren just doesn't. I don't know. Again, this is our running game, guys. We start games here in a couple of weeks, and we got a good look at our starting running backs playing against backup players for the Carolina Panthers, who's not a good team anyway. But again, Kenneth says Johnson has looked better, but they need to pull him off of a kick return because that's not his. Absolutely. And I don't know if that's just for preseason, but when do you generally, I don't know. It's an odd move. You're right. And we will see, Kenneth, if that changes. And I tend to think that it will. It seems like a preseason thing to me.
That's how the vibe I'm getting from him being back there in kickoffs, preseason thing.
Okay. Also, Mark Malone says Rodgers will be lighting it up. Come on, week 1, man. And I hope you're right. Listen, I want to win all these games as much as everybody else does. But when you look at things realistically, Mike, if you and I went away for a month and didn't do a show and we just jump back on, I guarantee we'd be talking over each other, and we would be, the way we do things would be a little rough. And guess what? We've done this for 800 shows. So, we know what we're doing. But guess what? If we took a month off and we came back and sat down, I promise you we would talk over one another and things wouldn't be as smooth as it usually is because we're human. That's what happens. And again, I don't care if the guy won 15 MVPs. He's human, and everybody else around him needs to practice with him. It's okay that you're going to be okay. But what about everybody else? Don't you think that the cadences and this and that in game time situations, crowd, whistles blowing and horns and everything else, I would have liked to seen him just for a series maybe. But again, that's just me. I will keep receipts on that, though, guys. Let's move along. Jamal says we did look bad against the backups. I agree. That did not go the way that I thought it should have went last night. Kenneth says Thompson has shown that the quick mid-level throw is there for Rodgers to use a lot of receivers and open for it. And you know what? If they live and die by the pass, Mike, which kind of goes against everything that we've heard all year about 3 tight ends and blocking and running the ball a lot and Arthur Smith, it has a feel that we might be living and dying by the passing game. And from what I've seen so far, I'm okay with that. But there's going to be a time that we're going to need to run the ball.
Isn't that though what people have been clamoring for? Is the Steelers need to get to the modern football? They get to the modern football throwing the ball.
Yeah, but those are two different things.
Why are we throwing the ball? Why are we throwing?
Those are two different arguments, though. Living and dying by and doing better are two different things. Again, it just seems by what we've seen from the running game, we're going to be doing a lot more passing than we initially expected. Again, the offense was the question, again, with the tight ends and the running game, and those are things that we did not see. Maybe they're just hiding it, Mike. Maybe they're outsmarting everybody else. Let's go with that narrative. The Steelers are outsmarting everybody else, and they didn't run the ball at all, and this is all going to be fixed in 2 weeks. That's the way half of people are looking at it, which I don't think is going to be accurate. John says Rodgers has had 1 300-yard passing game in his last 40 starts. Yeah, I mean. And people like Mike are going to come out and say, well, he threw better than Kenny Pickett and Mitch Trubisky. And so, I mean, that's true. That's true. He did.
And in those last 40 starts, each year he's been damn near 4,000 yards too, as well. So,
again, we'll keep receipts. We'll see what he does this year. Guys, Mark Malone says along with Caleb Johnson. Caleb Johnson, again, he looked a little quicker last night to me. Early on, he didn't look like that in the first 2 games. He was able to gain some yards. Again, Mike, he goes 5 for 24 for a 4.8 yard per carry average on the night. I wasn't so disappointed. Again, I would have liked to seen a lot more from him in the sense that he did catch a ball. I seen he caught a ball. It was about a yard gain, I think, if I'm remembering right. But I would have liked to seen a little bit more from him. But again, maybe Mike Tomlin is just outsmarting everybody, Mike, and he showed nothing and practice nothing in game situation, and we're going to come out again and be on fire in 2 weeks.
I thought Caleb Johnson looked really good. I thought he looked real explosive on his runs, was hitting the holes with confidence.
Again,
I
gave him that credit.
Looks like he is ready to start week one. He was very confident in himself out there.
I gave him that credit. I said he looked better than he did in the first 2 weeks. Again, is he going to be ready to carry up an NFL team on his back? I don't know if that's going to be possible, Mike, but we will see. The offensive line, again, I would like to see that rush blocking get a little bit better, Mike. It always seems, they kept the defense off the quarterbacks for the most part in these first 3 preseason games. It just didn't seem like them holes were opening, though, when it came time for the running backs to run through them. That's a concern of mine, Mike, the offensive line with the running game.
Yeah, I'm like Zach Frazier and McCormick and Spencer. Who was the other guard that's playing out there? Anderson have not been getting any push up the middle, and that's concerning right there.
Absolutely. Let's see. Jamal says we look bad, and I want to be optimistic, but we have looked like dog shit for our standards. Mark Malone says I drive. A drive may have done Derek Harmon in one drive. Is that what you're saying, Mark? Jamal's also saying running game bad, defense still bad. No number 2 receivers. Getting rid of GP was the worst trade of all time. Jamal says. Kenneth says Warren had the first game blues, but will be fine. I mean, Jalen Warren didn't look like he looks generally. So, I'm going to give him. I'll give him that. Maybe it was the first game blues, and he comes back and again, he usually looks like a bowling ball, just running people over. Another thing about Caleb Johnson, Mike, that kind of bugs me. He doesn't fall forward. And, in the NFL, if you're a back that falls forward, you're picking up an extra 30 yards a game just by falling forward. If you're carrying the load, that's one thing I noticed about him, Mike. He doesn't always fall forward. You get these running backs that always fall forward. They know how to fall. This is a quality that one thing that I did notice early. It may change, and it may even not be him. I'm just an observation that I made. You want your running backs, or anybody for that matter, on offense to fall forward when they get tackled, which is impossible to do 100% of the time. Yeah. But you got to be able to know how to do that, and it comes in. It's beneficial, believe me on that. Jamal says I have to hold my breath and lose hair every freaking game because we can't get into the red zone until the fourth quarter. Hey, look at Mike. He had a full head of hair when he started watching the Steelers. Mark Malone says I can pick up a can of paint after not touching one for years and still be dead on. RB says, I don't see any benefits of Rodgers taking snaps. He doesn't need to adjust to the speed of the game. He isn't going to see anything he's never seen before. Again, I'm going to take you guys' word. I'm not going to agree, but I'm going to hold the receipts on that, though. And let's see how he looks in week 1 and week 2. Let's see if he, let's see if he looks prepared. And I'm sure he's going to look prepared. But we'll just watch the results. That's all I'm going to say, and we won't even debate it.
Dude, he's like Mario Lemieux coming out of retirement against Toronto and putting up a goal and 3 assists, brother. He don't need no practice.
Jamal says it's a long season. It should be okay for Aaron not to play. He's 90. Again, we'll have this conversation again in 2 weeks. We won't even debate it anymore because there's nothing that we can say or do to convince one another. Again, I really think that he's human at the end of the day. We'll put this receipt aside. RB says they weren't going to show anything anyway, so timing wouldn't even been the timing would have been kind of a thing for me too. Just some timing issues. Again, very standard, fundamental things that I think that again, even if you did it 100 times in a row, you got to be prepared, and timing is big, especially in the NFL. But yeah, I agree. They didn't show anything. Jamal says Mason looked a little full of himself with the interceptions, like his spot is reserved. Well, guys, Mason Rudolph went 6 of 8. He didn't really have the playing time that I would have liked to have him see him play last night. Like, he went 6 for 8 for 36 yards and an interception. That's his second interception of the preseason. Skylar Thompson goes 11 for 13, 152 yards and a touchdown, obviously having more playing time and opportunities than Mason. And even Logan Woodside, Mike, he goes 4 for 6 for 38 yards. So every quarterback only threw 2 incomplete passes on the night, 11 for 13, 6 for 8, 4 for 6. So for what it was worth, I thought the quarterbacks did okay. Of course, Logan Woodside isn't going to be here much longer. And what are they going to do, Mike? What are they going to do with the quarterback room? Are they going to carry a fourth? Did Skylar Thompson play so well that they're going to be forced to carry a fourth quarterback?
He played well. And you can tell this is a guy who's played a handful of starts in the NFL, going up against guys who are, going to be bagging groceries here in a month or two. But then you go, okay, yeah, he looked really good in a preseason, but then you take it to the 10 games he's actually started in the NFL. It's not pretty, and not pretty at all. And, he was with Miami where they had, some pretty good offensive weapons and completed under 59% of his passes, 1 touchdown and 3 interceptions. Now, did he find, or you can also argue, hey, maybe he finally figured it out at the ripe old age of 28. And where, we've seen Mason Rudolph, work himself into being a competent backup quarterback that you can trust to manage some games here and there. He's not a starter. He proved that last year in Tennessee. But, you look at his last 2 preseason games this year, they weren't the best, but that first preseason game, you're like, yeah, this is why we brought Mason Rudolph back. So there's an argument. You can make arguments for either guy to be the backup and to make the team, but I think it is going to be Mason Rudolph as the number 2, just because they have that trust with him and they've seen it, and he has the better track record being able to produce in the NFL. And
Mike, I think you have to look at. I think the question is ultimately, I think we all know that Mason Rudolph is going to be number 2 when it's said and done. I think the big question is it going to be a 4-man quarterback room?
I think what might happen is when it comes down cut down day, what to do is one of the things they can do is put Will Howard on the IR with the designation of return. So after the first 8 weeks, you can come back. And then at that point you say, hey, anyone around the league need a quarterback? We trade you Mason Rudolph, or we trade you Skylar Thompson, or they're probably calling on the phone right now looking for teams that might need a quarterback. Because if they want to keep 4 quarterbacks, they can find a way to do it. It's just Will Howard for the first 8 weeks will have to be on the IR.
I'm seeing a lot of good things popping up on the board, Mike, so I'm going to continue on the board.
Yeah.
A lot of good comments and questions in here. Kenny says running game will be okay once all the backs get the jitters out. Caleb showed it, Gainwell showed it, and Warren will show it. And I agree. After 2.5 games, I thought that Caleb Johnson certainly looked a lot better. As Mike said, he was hitting the holes quick, where he wasn't earlier in the preseason. Maybe, again, just getting them jitters out was the difference for him. But I do know that Gainwell, he looked better. He looked good last night as well, Mike. And Jalen Warren, he's going to have to get better because he's the starting running back, and he has no choice. So
my thing is with Jalen Warren, can he be the guy, or can he be the backup to the guy? Because being the backup to the guy is a lot easier than being the guy. You don't have the pressure of being the number 2 back in the rotation. Now when you're the number 1 back, is he putting pressure on himself? And was he pressing some out there last night?
Jamal says Caleb Johnson looked better, but I would have liked to remove him from the kick return. Absolutely. And I hope that's the plan. I don't even know why.
I think Gainwell is going to be back there a lot, and probably someone else. I don't think they're going to have Caleb back there.
RB says, look, we're bitching about being a passing team, and then we turn around and say, well, Aaron Rodgers has to throw for 300 yards in 60 games. What are we? You know what? It is confusing, RB, and that's what that's the fun of being a Steeler fan. I guess we bitch no matter what. If we're happy, we're bitching. If we're pissed, we're bitching. There's always something to bitch about, I guess. Corey, what's up, brother? Always great seeing Corey on the board. He says, hey, fellas, is it wrong to be worried? Warren looked like shit. Mason looked like shit, and he was potentially our starter this season. Should Skylar Thompson be QB2? We just touch on that. I'm sure you probably did catch that, Corey. I'm going to go to Jamal. He says, I agree. Vanilla, he looked ready to play. If we need a rookie to carry us, we are cooked anyways. Yeah. Again, I think it comes back to a lot of other things. Last night, missed tackles, penalties, just the small, stupid, fundamental things that should be getting tighter as preseason wraps up. It just went the other way. Things were tight early, and then it kind of unraveled. But again, I suspect that the referees were probably calling things a little tighter last night in preparation for the season coming up. I don't know this to be fact, but I mean, it makes sense. And again, the laundry on the field last night could have been the proof in the pudding, or we were just playing that poorly. Kenneth says the starting line open lanes, but the backup line scares. The backup line, Mike. The depth in the offensive line is what scares me.
Yeah, there's some of the depth I like. Hopefully McCollum can get it together because he was really good last year when he had to fill in. I think Arthur's Pete makes this team. I liked what I've seen on him by far. I think he's the best backup we have on the team, and he could be a potential starter depending on how McCormick plays. McCormick doesn't play well. I'd put Pete in there and have him and Sayamalo playing both guards. That'd be a nice line right there. But hopefully, some of these guys that are out there playing, we won't see. I think McCollum, Pete, McCormick, Anderson will be your insides with Sayamalo. And your tackles are looking good. And Pete can play tackle as well. So
I'm impressed with the tackles. I got to be honest with you. These tackles, what they've done, albeit preseason, albeit mostly against not starters, I could say that we could be in a worse position with what we've seen from the tackles so far. Nothing but praise coming out about Broderick Jones from the coaching staff after this preseason, Mike. So hopefully that's a good sign.
Yeah, he looks like a changed man out there. Once the game started, it's like something clicked with him.
RB says you're not supposed to generate push and zone blocking. You turn guys to open multiple holes. Glenn,
it'd just be nice to some of those runs though. They're getting pushed back.
Oh, absolutely.
That's where we're.
The defensive line's in the backfield, and that's again you have to win the battle at the line of scrimmage, and that's why we're building a team from the line out. And these guys have to be solid, and they have to win the battles at the line of scrimmage because otherwise that's why you try to build your line. So. Glenn, great to see Glenn James on the board. Glenn says Skyler for quarterback 1.
Glenn knows what's up.
Hey, you never know. He might be Cleveland's quarterback 1 before we know. You never know.
Oh, Jesus.
Let's see. Spoodla Boost, great to see you on the board. Welcome. Hopefully Harmon is just a knee sprain like they're saying. That's what I get out of this, guys. It's a knee sprain. They're saying right around 2 weeks, which puts him at being ready to play on opening for opening kickoff weekend. Again, it seemed to be a lot more serious as it happened. I walked out of the room at the studio for 30 seconds, and I come in. I said, "I miss anything?" And Mike just points at the TV, and there he is getting carted off the field. I was like, "Yeah, that's not good."
Yeah, I started taking my drink to the face to drink away my.
And then he starts blaming me for doing the significant injury thing on the
damn straight, brother. You every time you bring it up, one of our guys goes down.
And that's why I do it. Because it's happened.
Because you're secretly a Browns fan.
Because every single year that we've done this, Mike, we've lost somebody in the preseason that lasted the whole entire year. How can you not do the over-under on that? I think it would be irresponsible.
How about you stop it because we might be the curse?
I think it would be irresponsible of me to not do this. That's all. I'm just trying to, I
remember we started it out as tongue-in-cheek, and then someone got hurt.
And then we're like, oh, we got to keep doing this.
We got to roll with it, boys.
Mark Malone, I really do think Roger and DK are locked in. If Tomlin didn't think they were, I think he would have had them out there. I don't know. Tomlin with some of his decisions, that's something that kind of makes me question it. Was if Andy Reid did it, it would have made me think, okay, well, this guy he really knows what he's doing. He's winning Super Bowls and been to 6 AFC championship games in a row. If Tomlin says it, I guess we could trust him, right, guys? Again,
Mark, we got to get you some fresh paint out there, brother. You're coming on the Tomlin side.
That doesn't. I don't. What is going on with Mark Malone in Missouri?
Blink twice if you're being held hostage, brother.
Say Apple.
I got you.
If somebody's making you say something against your will, say Apple.
I got you.
Jamal says, what do you guys think about the trade offer, Mute, and third round for McLaurin? And how would you counter the trade offer if you would? I stated this on the last show. I love this offer. As a matter of fact, I would do it in a minute. I would do it with Moot in a second round pick, to be honest with you. And I said this yesterday, Jamal, because why not invest in the offense? They got $1 gazillion invested in these two guys on the defense. Cam finally has a good year last year, and it was a really good year. Don't get me wrong. And also the aging TJ. So both of these guys making mad money. Why not invest a little bit in the offense? If you're going to pay DK and Lauren a lot of money, or McLaurin a lot of money, you're going to be having a more productive offense. And I got to be honest with you, that's something that we could certainly use. We haven't had quite a few seasons. So if we would spend money to have a McLaurin on this roster and DK, I'm fine with that. Another thing, it's not coming out of my pocket.
Exactly.
So I want the best possible team out there. But at the end of the day, when you think about it realistically, again, we spend a lot of money on this defense, Mike, that doesn't hold up to that. Again, spending the most money should mean that you're at the top of the top 5 every year. The fact that we go into the playoffs and just get blown out every year tells me maybe we should be putting a little bit more money in the offense so we could try to neutralize that and score more points and not have to depend on the defense and our aging overpaid veterans to win every game. I just don't think that that's a smart move in general. But I do like this, Mike. The Muth and
a third
round.
See, now was Muth in a second? Nah, I want that second. But Muth in a third when we still have I think 2/3. Fuck it. I would do it. I would do it for that right there. Go all in.
I like it. That's the thing. I want to win.
Yeah.
And again, if it was my money and I was counting it out of my pocket, I might have a different opinion, but it's not. So, go do it. Go get him, bring him here and pay him. I don't know. At the end of the day, we benefit by watching the games at the end of the week. So that's it benefits me.
Yeah.
If that they would make this trade. And again, you have 13 tight ends. Otherwise, I like Muth. I think he's a solid tight end.
Mm-hmm.
Not a big time playmaker, but a solid tight end. He's a good tight end to have on your team. And again, if we didn't have 13 tight ends, maybe the answer might be different on that as well. But you gotta like Mr. Washington. And you also, again, another one I haven't seen yet, Mike, was Jonnu Smith. I cannot wait to see Jonnu Smith, as he did not do anything yesterday in the game. I don't even know if he was in there, but I cannot wait to see what Jonnu Smith does at the tight end position.
Oh, me too. Muth, Jonnu, and Washington. My God, that's a fun group right there to watch. I want to see him do some good shit. But if you had to move one, for me, it would be move Muth. And I like him, and I like what he's done here. And you can see what he does, when he has a quarterback that trusts him and trusts to throw over the middle of the field. Muth can make some plays.
And here's another thing, guys. If you don't realize this, he's actually has better numbers at this point in his career as a Steeler than any tight end at this point in their career. Yes, Heath Miller ended up becoming a legend, but at this point, he has the best start, and that's been with having a terrible quarterback situation, having a terrible offensive line situation, having a terrible offensive coordinator situation. He still managed to get his when it came to him. He's solid. Again, I like Muth as well, but if we had to move one of these three, he would be the odd man out for me. And again, I'm on it. I want some Scary Terry on this team. That's what. And then I start feeling a little bit better every Sunday.
Right.
Let's go to RB. RB, my man, he says Green Bay's quarterback room behind Love is shit. Any of their wide receiver room is stacked. Just saying Thompson is much better than shit Clifford. I mean Sean Clifford.
Fuck Sean.
That's your boy, Mike. What are you talking about?
No, it's not. No, Sean Clifford and Chase McSorley made me throw so many remotes at the TV.
Hey, you're going to have Drew Allar next year in the league. It's going to be the three-headed Penn State monster.
I just stopped drinking for the day. Don't make me go drink some more.
Vegas says, what's good, fellas? Always great seeing Vegas on the board. What's up, man? Did you enjoy the preseason game last night out your way? Kenneth says, I agree with the real Skyler. With the real Skyler will show up eventually because he's shown hints of him, but did well this preseason.
I just hope there's a dumb team out there, Kenneth Jones, that will forget about his regular season performance. We can fleece him a little bit. Looking at you, Saints.
Jamal says trade Mason. You know what? A lot of people I've seen on social media, Mike, are all saying this. The Mason, he's turning out to be the guy that we thought he was. He's not as good as he was. Where I thought that he actually kind of performed right about where I thought that he would. Maybe just a tad better. Yes, the 2 interceptions are certainly something that grab your eye. Yeah. But that was Mason Rudolph in a nutshell. Again, if he's going to be our backup or even a third, I don't mind having him on the team, but I don't know.
I know what I get out of Mason.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to get out of Skylar Thompson. Is it going to be that Kenny Pickett type situation where, I started to turn into a believer and then he rips my heart out? Is it going to be that type of situation?
Corey says Mason perennially looks terrible in the preseason. He does too much with the lack of weapons. He's not practicing poise in the pocket and tries to be the preseason hero and shits the bed every time. And I got to be honest, before last night's game, I thought that he looked a little better. I thought that, since coming back from Tennessee, he didn't have the deer in the headlights look. And I thought maybe he turned that corner. Maybe he came that player. Maybe he went and just got different perspective and then came back in and it changed. Last night, he kind of fell back into the old look a little bit, going 6 for 8 for 36 yards and an interception. Again, maybe in a bigger dose, we'd be able to have a better opinion on that. But again, Mike, different look from the guy compared to the first 2 games in the preseason.
Yeah, this game, it looked like he was holding on to the ball too long.
Yes.
Where he wasn't getting out quick. I don't know if was he trying to let guys get open to make a play for them to get them with the ball so they can make a play, trying to help them out at the end of the guys at the end of the roster. Was he trying to do that? Or was it just him being indecisive that game? I don't know, because the first, definitely that first game, he was hitting his drops and that ball was flying out of his hand. This one, he was waiting, looking for things to develop when he should have been hitting that dump down quicker.
Spoltaboo says, give him to the Browns. I hear they like quarterbacks. I heard. I don't know, but I heard this. Jamal says, I think Ryan McCollum is better than Mason. McCormick? Would that be the comparison?
Yeah.
I think Jamal just likes McCollum because he shares the same last name. That's what I'm thinking.
A little collusion there, brother. Nepotism.
You know what? I don't know, Mike. As far as McCollum and Mason go, I liked what the rookie did last year, with him and Zach Frazier going in and just carrying the load. So at this point, I say go with the hot hand, but I don't think that the other guy's bad either, Mike. He's certainly a big part of the offensive line. This group overall, they just have to grow together and become better as a core group.
Yeah. And like I said, man, I would not be surprised if after the first game they don't like what they see from McCormick. It wouldn't surprise me if Pete jumps him and becomes the starter.
Yeah, I expect to see Pete involved as well, Mike.
Yeah, because McCormick was a surprise starter last year. This would have been the year they would have been slowly working him in, and he played well last year. And maybe the bar was set too high for him this year.
And that's what I think. I think they're probably going to go with him just because he was the guy that was able to do it. But again, with Pete, with McCollum, I just think the offensive line, they just really need to stick in together. I don't care who's in the first string, who's the backup, who the depth is. The offensive line, they need to become a group of guys that decides they're going to be a good offensive line, because you know what? The offensive line, that's a different group, man. These people, they just think different. And once you get it figured out, man, you usually get your line that you want. You know what? I don't know. Did McCollum play last night? I don't know this, guys. Mark is asking on the board.
I thought he did. I thought he played later in the game. I could be mistaken.
John says, there will be a postseason game where the Steelers must score a lot of points by air. A fact isn't a bitch. There's a lot of things they got to do better in January. A lot of things, guys, because the team that we've been seeing in January lately does not look like they belong playing in January. So hopefully some of these moves we made in the offseason could change our fortune on that, guys. RB says Washington sends Brian Robinson to San Francisco for a 6th rounder.
I saw that. That was they're trusting that one young running back a bit too much, I think.
I think so too. Mark Malone says, good God, man, I hope he's not seriously injured.
It should just be a sprain for Harmon.
Yeah, you know what? As I said, it looked bad early, and then later on in the game, they showed him on the sideline laughing and having a good time. And so I think he's going to be okay. Again, 2 weeks is what they're saying. We play a game in 2 weeks and 2 days. It's probably going to work out okay. We do need him, though, especially with who knows what's going on with Cam.
Clam.
Oh, Clamford. And you know what? But I like Y.A. Black. I got to be honest with you. I think Y.A. Black swoops in and takes that position ultimately, Mike, when the time comes. You gotta like what you're seeing out of this guy. 2 sacks last night.
I have not.
And the belly celly. Come on.
I have not loved the big, fat D-line with big belly like this since Big Snacks was here.
I agree. Corey says, let's talk about Ramsey. He was all over the place, and he gives me confidence in this team. He was aggressive. You know what? We're all going to love Ramsey.
Maybe a tad bit aggressive.
Yeah. I think we're ultimately all going to love Ramsey when it's said and done. Once people see what he really brings to the table.
Mm-hmm.
Again, generally somebody that the Steelers wouldn't bring in as a free agent or a trade or anything. So it's going to be fun. This is it's different, guys. It's going to be a little different this year.
And he made it look effortless. Everything he did looked like he wasn't exerting any effort on the blitzes, on when he blitzed and came back and made the tackle after a couple of people. Everything looks so effortless with him. You can just tell the dude's an elite athlete.
Absolutely. RB says people trusting Tomlin's judgment as he let AB run wild for 3 seasons and thought there was nothing wrong with it. I you know what? I tend to agree. You're gonna get debate as you start to see Mike's head shaking, but you certainly have a debate there. And you know what? I don't necessarily disagree with you.
But hey, you're able to get them there and get them into games and win games with them. He held them a lot longer together than a lot of coaches did.
I think that there's probably a lot more points that that RB used than just AB, and I think that a good argument can be made on that. Mark Malone says, I trust Tomlin in September, not so much in December. Right. December and January.
January, no. Can we get a reliever, coach?
Yeah. Can we remember when Kenny? Remember Kenny?
I wanted Kenny to be my fourth quarter quarterback. Yeah. I wanted him to be David Bednar. You play Renegade. Here comes Kenny Pickett.
For some reason, he only played well in that last 2 minutes of the game, and whatever. Guys, Jamal says, great take, but I think we can make the trade without losing Muth. Again, if that be what it be, I would take it. I just think that there's so much talent that's also at that position besides him. He's a solid guy. You don't want to lose this player on your team, but at the end of the day, we would survive and we would be just fine, I think, while adding Scary Terry. So I'm in favor. Trevor Jones, welcome to the board. Always great seeing Trevor. Trevor says our highest paid overage defense is the only reason we made it to the playoffs. Haven't had consistent quarterback play since 2017. I couldn't agree with you anymore. And it's a shame because we're depending on this defense with these two aging superstars, I guess we call them, and we're depending on them to punch the ball out of a guy's hand in the last minute of every game if a game is close, and we're depending on and here's the thing, it's just not fair to these guys, and we wonder why we let up 40 points, with the exception of last year's playoff game, of course, why we're letting up 40 points every time we play a game in January. It's just it's not right that they expect the defense to win all the time. And again, it always comes down to, well, let's get this. If TJ can get this punch out at the end of the game, that's a lot to ask. Again, that's a kind of a rare thing. TJ does it more than everybody else, which is a good thing. But again, at the end of the day, you can't depend on your defense all the time. You got to pay money out to your offense. We're not paying any money out on offense. We're not. Everybody on the offensive line is getting, they're all on rookie contracts. The running backs, Jalen Warren hasn't hit his. Everybody. I mean, we're basically paying nothing out on offense. Nothing. Jamal says, give them Connor and a fourth Connor. Let's see. And that was when Mike, I forget, when the guy when we threw the touchdown pass yesterday, Mike goes, is that Connor? I was like, no, that ain't Connor. Martin Malone says, the Muth daddy is going to turn it on this year. And the thing, Muth is solid as long as you get the ball to him, and Jamal says, laugh my fucking ass off. That is why I like McCollum. Kenneth says, not being sharp is one thing, but what I saw from Mason was alarming. He was clueless on how to be a quarterback in the NFL. He immediately ran out of the pocket almost every play and saw no open receivers. Again, he kind of resorted back. There was things I seen early in the preseason that I liked, that I thought was going to be an encouragement. But yesterday, again, he kind of went backwards a little bit. And again, you're playing backups. And you have, with the exception of DK Metcalf, everybody around you that would be around you if you were starting against starters. And that was what was discouraging about Rudy's performance last night. Corey says McCollum had 2 penalties, 1 holding call, and 1 false start. Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of all the penalties. Again, the fundamentals last night were what really caught my attention. And again, this shouldn't be where you're at in the third preseason game, but RB says Jets and Commanders discussing a deal to swap Breece Hall and Terry McLaurin. Interesting.
Now, once they realize they can get Connor Hayward, they're making that trade.
Somebody did just say that on the board, Mike.
I had my headphones on so I can listen to the show and stay up to date. And I heard that, I laughed so hard.
Remember when you thought it was Connor that caught the touchdown pass yesterday?
Like, come on, don't be Connor. Don't be. I hate rooting against
players,
but it's Connor Hayward. I don't want him to do good.
I said, you know better. You know better than that.
Just because of his last name. If his last name was, Connor Elliott, he was Deshaun Elliott's brother, I'd be rooting for Connor Hayward.
You yell at a dog, you point real close to their nose. That's what I did to him.
You begged him. Bad Mike.
Jamal said having Ramsey and Deshaun Elliott is going to be. Oh my god, dude! I love our secondary. And Jamal, like I've been saying to Mike, this is probably one of the, if not the best secondary that I've seen in my adult life watching Steelers. I mean, who pound for pound, you have 3 corners that could be number ones in the league.
Yeah.
And then you've got Deshaun Elliott, and then you got Juan Thornhill and Chucky Clark playing out of their mind to earn that other position. Like, our secondary is damn good, guys.
Yeah.
And that's something that we needed. It seems like in the big games, Mike, the passing game always let us down. Of course, last year we had the ball ran down our throat by Baltimore. But the pass defense, I think people cannot wait to see this pass defense.
Yeah, I just hope, for the first time in 40 years, we know how to cover the middle of the field. That's my only hope. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm going on 45 years of life. It might happen by the time I turn 50.
Hey, you know what? New England figured that out early, and they certainly played to that for about 20 years.
Wasn't it Cincinnati too? I think Cincinnati, they started doing it when they had Carson Palmer, and no, it was the guy before John Kitna was starting to do that. Then Tom Brady came along and just exploited the shit out of that big time. Those were the 2 teams that always did it to us consistently.
Kenneth says, I'm not taking the Skylar bait, but he immediately came in and saw I know. He was able to see things. I agree.
He can see himself to the New Orleans Saints for a 3rd-round pick.
Jamal says, laugh my ass off. Damn, we all feel like that about Connor. The thing is,
he's that guy that you should be rooting for because he does not look like he belongs in the NFL and he made it. And you're like, hell yeah. But
he's a little utility knife, and he's not bad to have on your team. Like I know. I mean, there's the little things that he could do well because he could do a little bit of everything. Yeah. And again, you're not expecting him. Say it's a 3rd and 1, and you got 2 backs line in the backfield, and you have him coming in motion, and you hand it off to Connor. He could get that 3 yards for you and get a first down. It's just there's little things that he could do really well. And between that and special teams, I think that's why you keep a guy like him around. Also, the last name on the back of his jersey goes a long way. But yeah, no, Jamal, we're all on the same page with Connor Hayward. It's been like that for a couple of years. He kind of took the spot of Derek Watt for me. It went from it's almost like that same kind of guy, the same kind of player.
Yeah, like Derek Watt when he came here. Oh, he's a.
Has anybody else got any younger brothers we could try out?
He's a special teams demon, and he couldn't do diddly poo.
Yeah, I like to get a look at somebody else's younger brother.
I was going to say Mahomes has a younger brother, but yeah, he's dancing on TikTok.
Kenneth says Connor's a little splasher. Let me get into some of these numbers, Mike. The wide receivers was led by Scotty Miller, Mike, with 3 catches for 82 yards.
Scotty doesn't know that Fiona and me.
McCutcheon had 3 catches, 52 yards, and a touchdown. Jalen Warren, 2 catches, 12 yards. Pat Freiermuth, 2 catches and 6 yards. Mike and Roman Wilson, who had a big first couple games. I didn't even notice if he was in. He may have been in a little bit at the beginning of the game, but he had 0 catches. Some other numbers, as we did mention, Mike, the quarterbacks. Skylar Thompson goes 11 for 13, 152 yards. If anything, he certainly looked prepared to play these preseason games. Again, you're not playing anybody good on defense, especially last night. You're not playing any starters. He looked exceptional for what he is. Again, it's going to make Skylar Thompson's career a little bit more interesting. Whether he's here, whether he goes somewhere else, Mike, he's going to give himself that opportunity. He just looked prepared. He looked ready to play, and I like that. As far as the running game went, Mike, of course, we did say that Trey Sermon had 4 carries for 39 yards, an average of 9.8 yards per carry. Lou Nickel, this guy seems to do something with the ball every time he touches it. I like Lou Nickel. Lou Nickel, Mike, he only went 2 for 14, and he had 3 catches for 21 yards, but his average per carry was 7 yards per carry on those 2 carries. Again, Lou Nickel, Mike, it seemed like every time he touched the ball in preseason, something good happened. Caleb Johnson had 5 carries, 24 yards for a total of 4.8 yards per carry. And then Jalen Warren, again, Mike, your starter, Mike, goes 2 carries, 3 yards, and he fumbles the ball away. Yeah. That was the numbers for your running backs.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of Roman Wilson, he had the fumble recovery. He was Johnny on the spot, and he was playing some special teams as well.
Okay.
I saw him running down on a punt return.
Ben Sauls makes up for his miss last week, Mike. I knew kicking them Laces was going to piss him off. He kicks a 50-yard field goal last night. Mike goes 4 for 4. Somebody's going to have themselves a good kicker with Ben Sauls. Always been solid. Mike, I like Mr. Sauls. He won't be here, but he will be somewhere. I think he has a good. I think he has a good future in the league. His leg is really all that, Mike. And then the big battle between the punters, Corliss Waitman and of course Cam Johnston. Mike, they 2 punts all game. One of them was by Waitman for 35 yards, and one of them was by Johnston for 35 yards.
Yeah.
So they were supposed to come down to the wire to who outperformed the other one.
Yeah.
Mike, they both had one punt for 35 yards.
See, Mason Rudolph was trying to not only help out the wide receivers, he was trying to help out the punters by going 3 and out. He just threw an interception. He was trying to throw it into the dirt so one of the guys can get another kick in. Mason's a team player.
Also, Mike, on the kick return, we were complaining a little bit about
Caleb
Johnson running back on kickoff, running the ball on kickoffs. Mike, he did have 3 kick returns for 66 yards.
Yeah.
So, that's again. Hopefully, that's not the case in regular season. Hopefully, we don't see him returning kicks in regular season. Mike, but 3 for 66 yards, not bad. Not bad at all.
Not bad. Kashawn Williams, the little receiver out of Indiana, undrafted. He also had 2 catches, 31 yards, and the 2 punt returns for 19 yards total. So, I don't think he's going to make the active roster. It's the numbers game there, but I hope they're able to get him in onto the practice squad because there might be something there down the line with him.
Mike, one thing I do want to mention, Mr. Chad Brown, the linebacker that played on Super Bowl 30 football team, and he was on the show earlier this year with us.
Yes.
Chad Brown, Mike. Chad Brown disagrees with Aaron Rodgers not playing in the preseason. Chad Brown says it, Mike. So I believe it to be true. I agree with Mr. Brown. I would have liked to see Aaron play just a series maybe. But, Mike, that is somebody that I know that you have a lot of respect for. And what's your take against his opinion?
What does he know? He played defense. I'm not going to argue against Chad Brown.
Exactly.
He said we had insightful questions, so I'm not going to argue with that, man.
Mike, how do we feel about this group after the preseason? We have 2 weeks now to prepare and get ready and let everything sink in that we just seen go on. How do you feel about this team after the preseason? Again, we got training camp out of the way. We got preseason out of the way. It's officially regular season for us now. What do you think about these guys?
I'm conflicted. There's good, there's bad, there's really good, and there's some ugly. I just don't know. It was I'm glad they didn't go in and blow everyone out and dominate everyone and they're riding in high. I'm also glad they didn't go in and shit the bed every game. This is kind of like what I wanted to see out of the preseason. Some ups, some downs. Individual performances is really what I'm looking at. Like guys I wanted to see perform well. I'm so happy to see like Harmon was getting better until the knee sprain. Wyatt Black, a revelation on this team, might be one of the biggest steals of the draft. That was good to see. The growth of Broderick Jones and Roman Wilson. The struggles of like Mason Rudolph, Caleb Johnson early. Those are kind of concerning, and the lack of the run game. But there's some, I'm conflicted. Like I said, man, there's some good and there's some bad stuff that they need to work on, and stuff that like surprised me. So, I'm not. It's the preseason, dude.
Mike,
it's hard for me to get.
Hold that thought because we are going to grade this team by position in just a moment. So hold your thought, Mike. But I do want to catch up on some messages before we do that. I'm going to go right here to Corey. Corey says, new thought and unrelated, but I think the NFL should start docking game checks for guys that give up on plays. If it's obvious and arguable, of course. Hey, you know what? They want an increase if they make more plays. Jamal says no one likes him, and he has been our most consistent weapon for the last 2 years. Jamal also says Scotty has been killing. I think dude is a baller. What
I'm turning into a Scotty Miller believer.
I'm still trying. I don't know. I see that he's, again, 3 catches, 82. That's good. He's probably going to make this team, right?
Yeah. When the ball gets in his hand, he makes plays. But you go back through his career in the NFL, it hasn't been great.
Did he make a
But
big touchdown catch in the Super Bowl? And
yeah, he had like a year where I think like he maxed out like 500 yards. You know, if we can get like 300 yards out of him, a couple touchdowns, but a lot of first down conversions, I will take that out of Scotty Miller. To be a guy that can move the chains, that's invaluable to an offense. So if he can be that guy, I'll take it.
Kenneth says, Corey, why would they do that when it was in the script? My couple things. Let's get into grading this team right now on as far as by position on how you thought things looked so far in preseason and just as a whole at that particular position, Mike. We're going to start at the top at quarterback like we always do. What do you grade the quarterbacks, Mike, from everything you've seen in training camp so far till the end of preseason? Getting ready to start the season against the Jets here in 2 weeks and 2 days. Mike, what do you grade the quarterbacks from what you've seen so far? And don't be afraid to put your answers up on the board as well, guys. We're going to grade it just like a classroom, A, B, C, D, F. Mike, what do you give the quarterback play in its entirety from this Pittsburgh Steelers team from the beginning of training camp to now? What's the grade on the QBs?
I'm gonna go with a C plus.
C plus?
A C plus, yeah. You know, like we got to see, you know, like the practice footage of just of Aaron Rodgers, didn't get to see him play any. Liked, you know, what we saw against Scotty Miller, but you got to gauge the competition. And Mason Rudolph played one from first game to last game, dropped. So you wanted to see him be steady all the way through. So I'm going to go C plus.
All right, C plus. Let's go to the running backs, Mike. As far as the running backs look, what do you give these guys if you were to grade them from everything you've seen so far?
Probably a C plus as well. You know, guys later in the game were playing the way they want to. We wanted to see some more out of Jalen Warren. We want to see more out of Caleb Johnson, but you know, he got better as it went on. And like Lou Nichols and Trey Sermon, they did what they were supposed to do against the guys they were playing against. I like C plus.
All right, let's jump to the wide receiver position, Mike. What do you grade the wide receivers? Again, no DK Metcalf. Everybody that you've seen was basically a 3 through 5. Somebody might bump up to the 2 here if we need that to happen, Mike. What do you grade the wide receivers from what you've seen so far?
I'm going B plus. I liked the way they were running their route, especially that route last night that Scotty Miller ran, baited the guy to guard outside, and they were to hit him up the seam a little bit. I like that. I like what Roman Wilson was doing. Sean Williams, even Lance McCutcheon last night looked good. I like what they have. You know, granted it's preseason, but I'm gonna go B plus on those guys.
All right. On the board, I'm seeing that Jamal said C plus for the quarterbacks. Mike, I think that's what you had as well.
Yep.
Let me get to the tight ends. Mike, again, the tight ends, it's hard to tell from what we've seen so far.
Yeah.
We have mad tight ends, but the only thing that we've really seen as far as tight ends was a nice touchdown in the first preseason game by Darnell Washington against Jacksonville. Overall, Mike, anything that you from what you saw, just from training camp preseason, what do you grade the tight ends?
I'm gonna go B right here. Really, the only big play from the passing game was that Mount Washington play, but I like the way they were used in the run game. They got better, especially last night. The way Darnell and Freiermuth were combo blocking guys, and you know Connor Hayward was out there doing Connor Hayward things. Let's give him a B.
Doing
Connor Hayward doing Connor Hayward things. Isn't that usually what you say about the special kid in class?
It is what you say about the special kid. Richard is saying B minus on the quarterbacks. Let's go to Mike, the offensive line. The offensive line. What do you grade this group of guys? What do you grade the Hogs?
I'm gonna go C minus, because I'm blown away by their pass protection, especially by Broderick Jones. I had more faith in Fatanu.
These quarterbacks did not get harassed in preseason.
No, and when they did, it's like they mentioned earlier in the board. It's like when they broke the pocket themselves. So they created their own pressure. The run game, it needs a lot of work. They're getting pushed back. Later in the games when they were going up against backups, they were getting their run lanes open. But before, it was kind of concerning. And like it's looking like maybe some of these bigger nose tackles or bigger D tackles might be giving Zach Frazier a little bit of fit this year. That's a little bit alarming, but I think he'll be fine. But I'm going to go C minus overall just because the run game, the run blocking isn't there yet.
All right, guys, let's jump over to the defensive side of the ball. Mike, the defensive line. We're talking Y.A. Black. We're talking Derek Harmon. We're talking Keanu Benton. Mike, what do you grade this defensive line so far?
If I'm just grading those guys, I was gonna.
I know we're
I
grading
know. I was
Isaiah.
probably gonna say like an
We're-
A minus. I
we're-
really like
listen,
what I saw.
We're
But the
grading
totality-
Isaiah Loudermilk and
No.
all these, and not everybody.
Yeah. I kind of weighed this evaluation. I'm gonna go B minus. The top half of this rotation is looking really fucking good. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. The bottom half, they're gonna be good in small doses. Let's just say that. Let's hope, knock on wood, none of the big four get hurt. Because if they do, it's gonna be a very long season.
Linebackers. Mike, how do you feel about the? I mean, we have a great group of linebackers from top to bottom. I mean, we haven't seen, of course, TJ and Alex Highsmith with his groin, but I mean, you got to see Holcomb. He's not been injured yet. He surpassed what I expected, Mike. That was, what I said. I said he's not going to get through preseason without being hurt. Peyton Wilson, the whole crew, Mike Harrison, all the way down to Mark.
Was looking good last night.
All the way down to Mark Robinson. Mike, what do you give the linebacking core in preseason?
Go B minus. I think that's fair. Yeah. Well, what pissed me off last night, our outside edge rushers had the Myles Garrett playbook down pat. The boo, I scared you. I scared you.
Nobody
got pressure on you. But they're completing passes downfield. They did get one pick out of the I scared you play.
But you know what? It came down to fundamentals with me. They're just not finishing plays, Mike. They're not finishing plays. They get their hands on the quarterback, but then he escapes. They get close to the quarterback, and then he gets the ball out. They just have to be able to finish plays. And that's something that we did talk about this defensive line, Mike, coming into the season this year. Let's drop back to the secondary.
Real quick. I think if it's Highsmith and Watt, I think those are sacks all day.
Well, obviously, it's going to be a lot different when we do have our starters in there. Mike, what do you got to think? What do you got to say about the defensive backfield? Of course, we didn't see anybody really a little bit last night, a little taste of it, but everything that you see in the Pierres and the Castros and the Eccles, the
miscommunications, the missed tackles, blown coverages by the guys later down in the depth. I'm going to go a C in the secondary.
Okay.
I think the bottom half performances in the second half kind of soured beyond what I saw early.
Mike, special teams, coverage, punt, return, kickoff, return, field goals. What do you grade special teams from everything that you've seen so far?
I don't want Danny Smith mad at me, so I'm going to go with a B.
Yeah. And they weren't bad.
They weren't bad. They weren't great either. They're like no real good returns. I'm trying to remember if we had any bad returns against us in the preseason.
No, it was all pretty.
Yeah.
Mike, coaching. I guess I don't know. What do you think about coaching? Offensive, defensive, special teams, head coach. Mike, what do you grade the coaches so far from what you've seen?
I'm gonna go with a B.
Okay.
A B. Nothing that really pissed me off and nothing that wowed me.
Finally, Mike, what's your overall grade as of right now? If you had to grade this team overall collectively, Mike, what is the grade that you would give the Pittsburgh Steelers as they wrap up preseason, getting ready for the Jets in just 2 weeks and 2 days? What grade do you give the Steelers?
C plus.
Is this where you thought you would see the Steelers at this point? Is this pretty close to what you expected so far?
I didn't expect any A's or close to being like an A team. For maybe around like the BB plus range. So C plus, it's on the cusp of being a B. So kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because they have the potential to make that jump to be able to hang with the big dogs in the league. But I think we're much better than we were last year when we finished. I think we're just outside of that, like the tippy top tiers of the NFL.
I'm just going to go through some of the grades that I do see on the board here, Mike. Richard says team B minus. Richard's given the team a B minus. He's gave the special teams a C plus. Richard also says B plus to the linebackers, defensive line B. Timo, welcome to the show. Welcome to the board. Great seeing you, sir. Timo says B plus. Richard saying the QB's got a B minus. And then Timo also does have a comment. Mike didn't get to see Howard, which is unfortunate. I think everybody wanted to see our drafted quarterback, to see what it was that he had, because again, Timo, this team has, when the draft comes in April, we're not going to have had an opportunity to see Will Howard at that point. Hopefully, I mean, if we're into our third, fourth quarterback in the regular season, we might have some bigger issues than we want. But good chances are we're not going to see this guy. We're not going to see Will Howard play before the draft, and that's kind of unfortunate, because I think that is a big step in the next thing of what we're doing. We're trying to find our franchise quarterback. Aaron Rodgers only has so much left in the tank. He mentioned that it may not be his last year, but any way you slice it, you would have liked to got to look at Will Howard to just kind of assess what he looks like in the pros, and that way it could maybe help you make that decision in April when the draft comes here. But that is unfortunate for me, Timo. I think I would have loved to see, most people would have loved to see what Will Howard could have brought to the table. Let me jump on right here. I'm going to go right here. Jamal goes, the QBs make the receiver. Just have to pick one you like and feed him the ball, pitch and catch. Kenneth says Scotty will catch the ball, but won't have many yards after the catch. He's dependable, though. Corey says, damn it, don't get me started, Kenneth. My conspiracy brain can't handle the Steelers being scripted, good or bad. I choose ignorance for this section of my life. Jamal says, Holcomb hurt, but he won't let us know. Yeah, I know he won't. If you've played one practice snap in the NFL, you're more than likely hurt. Yeah, the thing about him, Mike, I always complain that he's been hurt since we brought him over a couple seasons ago. That's what people aren't realizing. He's already been here a couple of years, and he's finally getting some playing time. I did not expect him to make it through preseason. I just didn't like it. If there was a significant injury, he would have been my
right.
guess.
Yeah, he would have been the sacrificial lamb, not Derek Harmon.
Yeah,
that's on you, brother. I'm blaming you, Ryan.
Not the game-changing number one overall or our number one overall draft pick that's supposed to help this defense and bring it back to, the run defense back to a level that we needed it to be. That is not who we wanted to lose. But luckily, guys, again, they're saying roughly 2 weeks. We play 2 weeks, 2 days. I think Derek Harmon plays in the opener. They have things now, especially in the NFL. They have things to put on you and in you and around you to make you heal faster than you normally would. Mike, because I know whenever I broke my hand, there was the healing process, but then they also have like a bone stimulator that helps it heal faster. Yeah. And I'm no NFL player, and I got to use this and it healed it like a fraction of the amount of time faster. So who knows? I mean, these guys could probably get healthy really quick if need be. I think Derek Harmon, Mike, I think he's ready to go in week 1.
Yeah, I just don't want to rush him back because that knee sprain, the ligaments in there. I don't want to risk him blowing out the knee towards a permanent thing. But I do want to see him out there because it's the NFL. You cannot afford to throw away any game. Every game matters in such a tight window. So you might have to bite the bullet. If he goes out there and gets hurt, he goes out there and gets hurt. That's football. It's regular season now. There's you go. If you can go, you go.
And another thing, whenever I sprain my ankle, and a sprain is so much, you don't want to break, and it's not your knee. But again, a sprain does usually, take about 2 weeks to heal. And I was back to doing everything I did on my sprained ankle after a couple of weeks. So again, pro athletes, like they have a luxury.
Oh yeah,
trainers and doctors and everything else.
Nutrition is so much better.
Nutritionists,
than ours. You got to think. Even though he's a big guy, he's eating a very good diet. He's young too. Being young helps so much in the healing process.
Mike, what has to improve between now and 2 weeks and 2 days from now, in your opinion, for this football team to get things started? Mike, what do you think needs to be improved between then and now?
The run game. The run game. That's just what I'm harping on right now. The run game.
Mike,
the run game.
Mike, couple big questions here. Does Cam Hayward get his contract situation taken care of in the next 2 weeks?
I'll answer this by saying he plays, but I don't know if he's going to get a new contract.
My other question, Mike, another big question, is the wide receiver 2 position addressed externally in the next 2 weeks?
Ooh. Oh, I'm going to say there's a 60% chance that it will happen.
All right. Interesting, guys. A lot of things going on, and this is Victory Friday. Heading into the weekend, Mike, we have a lot of NFL games. Let me give you a rundown of what's left. Of course, the Steelers played the Panthers last night with a 19-10 win. The Giants, they beat the Patriots last night 42-10. And these games are today. The Eagles at the Jets, it's a 7:30 start. The Falcons at the Cowboys, it's an 8 o'clock start. The Vikings at the Titans, which is also an 8 o'clock start, and 8:20 start for the Bears at the Chiefs. Tomorrow, the game start at noon with the Ravens traveling to Washington. 1 o'clock, the Broncos are at the Saints. At 1 o'clock, the Rams are at the Browns. Also 1 o'clock, the Colts at the Bengals. The Texans at the Lions, also a 1 o'clock start. 4 o'clock tomorrow, Mike, the Seattle Seahawks. They travel to Green Bay to play the Packers. 7 o'clock, the Jacksonville Jaguars at Miami. 7:30 tomorrow, the Buffalo Bills at Tampa Bay. 8:30 tomorrow, Mike, the Chargers at the 49ers. And finally, the late game tomorrow is a 10 o'clock start, Mike. That is the Raiders at the Cardinals. That wraps up preseason, Mike. The next NFL game after that is going to be September 4th, Thursday game between the Cowboys and the Eagles to kick everything off. And, of course, the Steelers on the 7th with their 1 o'clock start at New York against the Jets, Mike. This is what it looks like. The regular season, this is the regular season for the Steelers right now. Any way you slice it, we are preparing for the New York Jets, Mike. So it's here. Again, still some things that we do have to worry about and think about and improve, Mike. Obviously, the running game, as you mentioned, Cam Hayward, wide receiver 2, getting everything tightened up. A lot of things last night, especially with starters that haven't been playing, a little sloppy, I think was the word that we used at the top of the show to describe it. So those, there's nothing major. Getting Derek Harmon healthy, nothing is really shining, saying this is a big problem. These are all issues that could certainly be taken care of in the next 14 to 16 days.
Yeah, so stuff can get cleaned up quick. And every team has games like this, whether it's preseason or regular season. You just have, even the greatest teams of all time have that game where you can't get anything done right on offense or defense. And, let's get it out of the way early.
Before we do start to wrap things up, Mike, I have a couple of things here. TJ and Danny Watt. TJ and his wife, Danny Watt, Mike, they launch a custom activewear line with Abercrombie and Fitch, guys. So if you guys, or gals, I know that are just in love with TJ Watt, Mike, TJ and his wife, Danny, launch a custom activewear line at Abercrombie and Fitch.
Do the clothes wear down in January and December?
I don't know, but you know what?
Take a cheap shot at TJ Watt.
And finally, Mike, all three of Pittsburgh's major league stadiums named high on the list for best places to eat on game day, Mike. Acrisure Stadium, PNC Park, and PPG Arena all at the top of the list for game day eats.
Well, when your team ain't winning, as long as you got the eats, baby.
Hey. I thought they would get you with the food. I don't know. I just assumed
I know,
a food
like
guy.
I'm like the worst person to go watch a live game. I don't eat, I don't drink, I don't scream and yell. I sit there and I laser focus on the game.
See,
I'm the worst person to.
I drink a lot. Yeah. I yell and scream a lot, but I have laser focus too. It's insane.
Like I can't sit there and in between plays or I was like, no, I'm sitting there like this. I am like watching everything to watch the game. I'm there to watch the game. I'm not there to scream and yell. I'm the worst fan to go there.
You're a terrible
fan. I'm much better at home.
Richard says Cam gets a new contract. The front office will call it a restructuring deal with the signing bonus. I think they get taken care of as well, guys. I just can't imagine they'll let this go into the season with Cam, and I think they get it taken care of just because they have to. It's something in the way that they have to take care of right now. I mean, whether you like to or not, Cam brought this to the table.
Yeah, there might be, if they move the signing bonus from next year, or like the roster bonus I think he has next year to this year, that might be what they do. That might be the only thing that they do for him, which I wouldn't even do because fuck them.
Couple messages. Corey says, I'm calling now. I think we sign a wide receiver 2 today. You know what? Corey, it's weird you said that because this morning when I was sitting down writing a show, I thought to myself, I was like, I just had a feeling. There was a vibe. I was like, I think they're going to get somebody soon. Wouldn't it be crazy if it was today? And it's odd that you said that. He says by the end of the week at the latest, there's no way Con is satisfied with the room. I agree. I think that Con is a smart football guy. And again, that's, he hasn't really ever stopped the pursuit, but you know what? He was never really aggressive with the pursuit on the wide receiver too. he makes some phone calls, Mike, but so far no luck. We want to try to get somebody that's accomplished as a number 2. We will see. Corey's saying by the end of the week. Vegas says, I guess Cam will get half of his 2026 roster bonus, and that extra $6 million this year will put him in the top 5 defensive lineman play. And I do want to say welcome to Mr. Tommy on the board. Always great seeing you, Mr. Tommy. Mr. Tommy says, play Rodgers in preseason. You risk injury before the season starts. So worst case, you get 1 play in regular season before the injury. And then Vegas says, I got a feeling, Mike. I got a feeling Pittsburgh is going to the Super Bowl, I think is what he's referring to. A couple other things, like our other football team, the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. They travel to play the Birmingham Legion, Mike. That game is at 8 o'clock tomorrow. And then the Buccos, they start a series with the Rockies today, a 3-game set. Game 1 tonight at 6:40. Pirates come in with a 54-74 record, and the Rockies are the worst team in the National League, 37-91. So I'm sure they are going to beat the Pirates. That's just what happens. Pirates go out and they beat the Toronto Blue Jays, best record in the AL. They'll come out and they'll lose to the Rockies, who have the worst record in the NL. It's just the way. It's what the Pirates do. No explanation. It's just what they do.
Exactly.
Mike, why don't you go and tell everybody about the website?
The2dumbyinzers.com. Check it out. We got all of our social media links over there. We got the Dumb Thoughts blog, which will be returning Monday. I will have my roster predictions on there before cut down day. Hopefully they do sign a wide receiver too. So I can have that in there. It'll be the easiest prediction ever. So yeah, check it out. The2dumbyinzers.com. And don't forget, we got some merch over there too. We got the hot off the presses. It's not always about your money, bro.
I like it. Obviously referring to Cam Hayward, guys. Go check it out, everybody. www.the2dumbyinzers.com. That's www.the2dumbyinzers.com. A lot of cool stuff over there. Go check it out. I'll grab a couple messages, Mike, before we get into this trivia of the day. Sticky B, what do you know about Sticky B? Sticky B says there have been worse rosters than ours to win a Super Bowl. You never know. I agree. At the end of the day, listen, I'm going to be rooting for this team just like everybody else is to win every game that we possibly can and win a Super Bowl. I'm right there with you, Sticky B. I think, why not us, right? Why not us? Why not now? And Vegas says those bipolar Buccos. If that isn't the perfect explanation, I don't know what is. Again, they beat every good team and they lose against the worst teams. Mike Paulskins will be pitching on the 3rd leg of this series against the Rockies. And also don't forget they have Bubba Chandler called up, Mike, who will be pitching out of the bullpen, who is the number 1 prospect in minor league in baseball. So it's interesting if you're going to follow the Pirates through the weekend, Mike. I know a lot of people that just say that the Pirates are done. It's Pirate season's over for me. Once the Steelers put on them uniforms, Pirate season's done. So whatever you do with that, guys, they do have a series this weekend against the Rockies, Mike. Pirates 54-74. Let's get into the question of the day. Mike, put on your thinking caps. Everybody on the board, everybody at home. Here we go. Mike, no different than ever. How well do you know your enemy? How well do you know your opponent? The Steelers' next opponent is the New York Jets on opening weekend. Mike, kicking things off in 2 weeks on September the 7th. Mike, this is the Jets question of the day. Let's see what you know about our opponents. Here we go. What is Justin Fields' record versus the Steelers? Pretty short, pretty sweet, pretty simple. What is Justin Fields' record versus the Steelers? Take a minute to think that over, guys. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every day right here on YouTube. All right, Mike, board, everybody at home, question of the day. What is Justin Fields' all-time record versus the Steelers?
Let's get 0-1.
0-1. What's your thought process?
We played them one time. The dude looked like he was going to bump into the official. The official was watching him. He walked by and throws the flag, the personal foul against him, and we win that game due to that penalty.
So you're going to say 0-1. That's the only time that they've played the Steelers.
Yep.
Or he's played. Okay.
Yeah.
Final answer.
Final answer. I'm not going to let you think that we played more.
You're not going to let me think they play. I know how many they played. I have the answer in front of me.
Yeah, I know, but you like to influence me.
Well, yeah.
To go from the right answer to the wrong answer.
I'm not influencing. Is that your right? Is that your final answer? That's all I want to know. Locking it in. All right.
Lock it in.
All right. Corey on the board says 0-1. Sticky B says 0 wins. Excuse me. Richard says 0-1. And then Vegas says you should make T-shirts in Dodger colors that say better than the Babe, aka Otani. So really well. Question of the day, guys, is this: what is Justin Fields' record versus Steelers? Mike seems to think it's 0-1. But you know what? Richard and Corey and Sticky, they all believe and agree with you, Mike. They are all saying 0-1 as well. Of course, the correct answer to the question, what is Justin Fields' all-time record versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, guys? It was a 29-27 game in 2021. And the Pittsburgh Steelers were on the winning side of that, Mike, and that is, in fact, the correct answer. Justin Fields is 0-1 all-time against the Steelers. Let's hope we could carry Owen over. We could carry Owen over to the first game of the season, Mike, and make him 0-2. But yes, that is correct answer, guys. Great job. 0-1. 0-1 is the correct answer.
I like it.
Mike, before we wrap things up for the weekend, man, anything? Got anything?
I got nothing. Oh, wait. I may have had something. Hold on. Oh, yeah. Post Ben Roethlisberger, the Steelers are 17-2 in games without a turnover.
That's
throw that out there. Aaron Rodgers is historically good with limiting turnovers, but the past 2 years,
didn't he throw a bunch of turnovers?
They've crept up. So if he can just play smart ball security, this team should win.
All right, I like it. Corey says 0-2. If you remember, he lost the starting job. You know what? At 4-2, I thought he looked okay last year. And who knows how the season would have ended if they would have stayed with Fields last year. But he didn't look bad. I don't know. In those first 6 games, I didn't think he looked terrible. But again, I hope he looks terrible in a couple of weeks, Mike. A lot of different conflicting views on him so far in preseason. Early, he looked terrible. And then when I seen him play last week, he did very well in the game. So I don't know what Justin Fields we're going to get. I don't know what New York Jets team we're going to get. But we have 2 weeks and 2 days to figure that out, Mike. And we'll dig to the bottom of every barrel to find all the information and answer to all these questions as we build up to that point, Mike. Again, a couple weeks away. Next week, we will be hitting our 800th episode. We'll be turning the leaf over to season 8. Also, that and tonight, guys, if you get a chance, come back here to the 2 Yinzers Network on YouTube and check out the 3 Gooners show. Finch, Tim, and Ryan will be back tonight at 9:30. These guys will always make you laugh, man. Last week, I don't recall what it was, but I laughed very hard. They always hit interesting topics, and they're pretty funny shows. So check out the 3 Gooners tonight right here at the 2 Yinzers Network, Media Network. Check them out tonight at 9:30. Vegas says Muth and Warren need to hold on to the damn ball along with everyone else, of course. Absolutely. They got to tighten the ship, man. They have to tighten the ship. Again, these games start counting. There's no more games that don't count. Guys, the Steelers did go 2-1 in the preseason. Again, of the victory last night, 19-10 over the Carolina Panthers. Mike, Victory Friday. Enjoy the day. Because we did win. And guys, we're heading into the regular season and things could be a lot worse. We got a lot of new cars, new toys, new shiny toys, Mike. I can't wait to see here in 2 weeks whenever they play for real. Again, the 4 guys that didn't play last night, I can't wait to see these guys again. So a lot of things to talk about and get ready for heading into the opener, Mike. So maybe we need that extra week. I don't like the extra week, having the extra week to wait, but maybe we needed to get everything that we need to talk about out of the way.
Yeah, it just 2 weeks is nice. You get a lot of practice in. Maybe give the guys a couple of days off. Let them get their head clear.
All right.
Nice little vacation. You 2 days off, and then get your asses back there and ready to go.
I do want to say thank you to everybody for coming and hanging out and checking us out today. We certainly appreciate each and every one of you. We truly, honestly do. We wouldn't do it without you. Thank you so much to everybody. I do want to say thank you to everybody on the board. You guys always keep things interesting here on the show, and everybody at home, whether you're in the car, whether you're at the gym, maybe taking a jog with your earbuds in, whatever the case may be. Thank you as well. I do want to say this: if you haven't had a chance, go check out our social media pages. We are active on Facebook, on X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and even TikTok. Go hit the follow button and keep up with the 2 Yinzers on an everyday basis. And finally, if you haven't had a chance today, hit the like, subscribe, and share button down below. It helps us out, and we appreciate it greatly. I want to thank you so much, everybody. Mike, one more time, anything before we take off for the weekend, sir?
No, but 2 weeks. 2 weeks and 2 days.
2 weeks and 2 days.
2 weeks and 2 days. We got Steelers fucking football games that fucking matter.
They all count from now, guys. Whatever you say, whatever you do, training camps out of the way, mini camps out of the way, preseasons out of the way. This is regular season for the Steelers. It's time to get serious. It's time to get ready for the Jets. We'll be back at it Monday to do it all over again at our regular time to get prepared for that game coming up, guys. Again, I want to thank everybody so much for hanging out. It was a great show today. Great seeing everybody. Great to see everybody enjoying their Victory Friday. So enjoy it through the weekend, guys. Watch some more NFL football. We'll be back Monday at our regular time to do it all over again. Again, Mike, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Have a good weekend, everyone.
All right, everybody. For Mike in the Steelers Central Mobile Studio, myself, the two dumb Yinzers, have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday.